moving on. Mad Max Fury Road. Remember that? One of the best.
Doesn't?
In my opinion, one of the best movies of 2015. One of the best movies of 2015. Loved it. Think it's a really well done action movie. At least one of the best action movies of the decade, I would say.
Completely agree 100% with everything you just
Loved
said.
it. I mean, it's a movie unlike that we've gotten in so long. Really good story, some amazing visuals. I still am mad at myself. I have not seen the black and chrome version yet.
Yeah, same here.
I am still mad I have not seen that.
I watched Logan Noir, and I was like, man, that when I got done watching, I was like, that was good, but that just reminded me I need to watch the chrome and black and chrome version.
See, I don't know about Logan in Noir. I don't know.
It's all right. It doesn't really
right.
add too much to it, but it is like a nice, like, oh, well, I mean, like, it does add, like, a little, like, kind of cool as a noir film. But, like, it's nothing too much. But, like, I imagine this is amazing.
It's totally something that the eyes need to behold. Yeah, but I need to see that black and chrome version. But there is a lawsuit now that would potentially destroy the chance of us seeing the sequel to Mad Max Fury Road, which is very disheartening in my opinion. Very sad to note that. But let me go into the details of this. So, for starters, George Miller, the director of these Mad Max movies, he is famously reclusive, and he's famously sort of meticulous, I would say, about his movies. Oftentimes, his movies take a long time to kind of come to fruition. I mean, there was a big gap in between, like, Beyond Thunderdome and Fury Road for Mad Max. There's a big gap. So now there is a lawsuit. There's a big court battle between Miller and Warner Brothers. Essentially, at the core of this lawsuit is that Miller was expecting to receive a $7 million bonus for keeping...
$9 million.
$9 million, excuse me. I'm looking on Den of Geek. That says $7 million, okay, but $9 million's another figure. So something around that. I'm looking at Den of Geek right now,
It says $9 million for me for some reason. That's weird.
I say according to... according to the Sydney Morning Herald, for example, Miller was expecting to receive a $7 million bonus for keeping Fury Road's final net budget under the $157 million mark.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so yeah, so somewhere around there. We'll say 7 to 9. So he was supposed to receive a bonus for keeping the movie under about $157 million mark. That had to be for some tax reason, too. Budget and didn't weird number. But anyway, Warner Brothers insisted that Miller went over budget and didn't qualify for the bonus. Okay, again, this is coming from Den of Geek. So Miller's production company, Kennedy Miller Mitchell, said that there were quote-unquote substantial changes and delays that Warner Brothers forced them to make that wound up that like different reshoots and stuff that they had to go through, but it was one of the instances too where it still kept the film under budget. So now it's a big fight between them. Brett Ratner's company, Rat Pack, now is involved, which I always find that like Brett Ratner's attached to like anything now with films. Like his name, that's the issue, but. Anyway, so now the issue right now. So there's going to be right now Mad Max, what's tentatively titled Mad Max: The Wasteland. What a great title! Mad Max: The Wasteland is currently
in limbo,
held up, and who knows? Let's say this though: who knows now if Miller does get this lawsuit going through, if he's even going to want to do a sequel?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very reasonable.
Is he still going to want to work with Warner Brothers after this?
Yeah, really. Is he still after this? I mean, because that's the aggravating thing too. I think when you're in the film industry, I'm just making an assumption. That's got to be the most aggravating thing. You make a great film that does make money, maybe against all odds, makes money. Go looking back, and it's a lot of money to invest in the Mad Max franchise. Go looking back on it, but it makes a lot of money, a lot of critical acclaim. You won 6 Oscars, and you were nominated for Best Picture
and Best Director,
and now you're fighting this lawsuit battle over what is, let's be honest, chump change to both parties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just contractual disputes. It's not like these people need the money. You know what I mean? They want the money, obviously, but it's more in line of contractual disputes. It was funny. You said that you'd like to see a sequel to Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, I would love to see a sequel because, I mean, I was just blown away by this movie. I was like, wow, we have not gotten an action movie on this level in such a long time with so much practical effects, so much stunt work, and just being like, just a great film. And the one thing I loved about Mad Max, other than the action, was how well it told its story with very little dialogue and through visual storytelling.
There had to be maybe 5 pages worth of dialogue if throughout that whole thing. There was not much.
Apparently, there's some people, you can watch it as a silent film and get what's going on.
I'm sure. You know, I'm sure on that that you can watch it, and that's why I'd like to see the black and chrome version.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna make a date to watch that right now. I'm gonna make a date to watch that because I think that color scheme would be really interesting for that movie. I liked and not to say that I don't like the colors of the movie, but I think that, like, you know, for an experiment, it's interesting. I always find that sort of style interesting when they go about it. You know what I mean? When they can do it, or when they take the opportunity to do it. So, looking forward to watching that at least. I mean, as far as the Mad Max movie goes, though, a sequel, I don't think it's wholly necessary. I think it ends really well. But here's the thing, though. I'm not going to fight the fact that there could be a sequel because, you know what? It's set up so perfectly. It's set up so perfectly for because there's so much to be explored with Natalie Portman's Furiosa character,
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
I was like, Natalie Portman.
No,
Whoa.
excuse me over there. I was gonna say it's been a while. Yeah, Charlize Theron in that character as well. I mean, let alone Tom Hardy. I thought Charlize Theron stole the show. You know?
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah. By far, it was her movie.
Absolutely was. So I look forward at least to seeing, you know, what materializes from this lawsuit. We'll probably keep it under wraps, keep in touch with it.
That's the thing, too, is that Fury Road did a great job at just building a mythology to the Mad Max world. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much in that movie. It's like, wow, there's plenty more to explore with this world, honestly. Like, I thought, like, Thunderdome might be like, oh, well, I mean, that's as crazy as it can. But then you get on it, it's like, wow, that trade with each other and, like, this highway that they trade on. And it's like, wow, This is really cool to watch and learn about this whole world still.
It's true. I totally agree.
Let me ask you this. If George Miller had to leave, if he chooses to leave, and, you know, Warner Brothers still wants this to be pushed out, what do you think would be the best director to pick this up with?
The best director, I was just going to say.
I got one if you need to think.
Bury it. I would say Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve?
I would say
That's
Denis
a good choice.
I would say Denis Villeneuve.
For me, I go with Matt Reeves, the director of the Planet of the Apes movies, because I thought
that's a good fit.
I thought he did a great job picking up where I forgot who made the first reboot of the films, but like he left eventually because of the delays with 20th Century Fox, and then Matt Reeves stepped
Rise
in.
of the Planet of the Apes. You're talking about the director of that
and
one.
then Matt Reeves stepped.
Rupert Wyatt.
There you go. He stepped in for the second and the final one, War for the Planet of the Apes, and I thought, you know, like, hey, he did a great job stepping in and still keeping the feel like the movie, and honestly, for me, doing a better job.
I would say Denis Villeneuve. Matt Reeves is an interesting choice. The other one I would say do not sleep on. There's two that I wouldn't sleep on. The other thing for if potential. This is another thing too. I don't think Miller would want anybody else to touch this franchise.
Oh, hell no.
But you know what? I would say beside Denis Villeneuve, I would say my other two choices: Stephen Quayle, who directed Into the Storm and Final Destination 5. I think that guy's got a wonderful sense of visuals. Learned under James Cameron. He's a smart guy. I think he could really tackle it well. I would say the other person too, I think you should consider because, you know, and before you think I'm crazy, I'm going to say Dan Trachtenberg, the guy who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane. The reason I say that is because you got to think. They gave Mark Webb, the guy, and I know this might not be glowing praise, but they gave Mark Webb The Amazing Spider-Man, which is not the worst directed movie in the world. And what was his credentials beforehand? 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
They like to make the jump of actors from like small scale to large scale. And I think Trachtenberg, that could be a good playing ground for him. He would obviously be my late choice, but I would say definitely Quayle, Villeneuve, and Reeves. I think those guys could handle this movie really well. You know, and I'm interested too. Denis Villeneuve right now is working on Dune.
Oh, I cannot wait to see what he's going to do with Dune.
I can't wait to see that either, which is, you know, similar in sort of essence at least to Mad Max.
Color scheme, too.
Color scheme-wise and everything. And I mean, I'm not going to lie.
We saw what he did with that one scene in Blade Runner where Ryan Gosling's walking through the desert.
Oh, yeah. It's a haunting scene. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't like the David Lynch movie Dune, but there are some interesting things done there. There's potential in there, and there's obviously potential in the Dune world, but it's just so dense.